welcome to Love Evolution. If you are brand new, so happy to have you here. This is a place where we can come together on a weekly basis to take a look at the energies that are influencing us, surrounding us, and tap in with the possible outcomes. My intention with all of these readings is always to provide you with the clarity, guidance, and insight that you most need in order to align with your highest good. We all have a unique and valuable purpose, a role to play in this game of life. And my intention is to give you that aha moment or help you understand why something is the way that it is. The reading of the tarot is a very intuitive form of divination. So as I speak and as you see the images in the cards, please apply them to the area of life that you feel that you feel called to apply that message. It will differ for everybody, but that's the beauty of tarot. Universe has a really amazing way of, telling a story, and each person gets a different facet or a different meaning and healing out of the story that I tell. If you're returning, welcome back. This reading is going to be for the week of June 8th through the 14th, 2020. There's a lot going on in the world right now. Our attention has been sort of pulled in this way and in that way. When I was meditating, clearing my energy, kind of had a hard time with this reading because, like everyone else, my attention has been pulled to, the media and what's going on right now. It can be very easy to focus on that rather than look at your own life and see, how can I make the most positive change? How can I align with the highest good in my own life? But the only way to do that is by tapping into your connection with Source, God, whatever you want to call it, universe. That is your purpose. That stream of wellness is always available to you. But when we get filled with fear and our attention is ping-ponging this way and that way, it's very easy to lose sight of that. It's almost like spirit, throwing you a rope, and it's very easy to let go of that rope and be, swept away in this current or that current. So at any rate, when I was clearing my energy, I usually get like a very vivid image, or if I don't get an image, I get a phrase, and I didn't get that, and I was starting to get a little frustrated. And so I just said, Spirit, what do I need to know? What can I say that will provide the most value for those that are going to watch? And this time it came through experience. So I was out in my little garden a couple days ago, and I got stung by a yellow jacket, and I was just looking at it today because it stung me right on the side of my knee. This morning I was wearing socks, like, knee-high socks or whatever, and I take the socks off and go to put my sandals on, and my leg was like, where the sock had been constricting my leg, below it was normal and above it was, swollen. And it's itchy. It's irritating, right? It's continually grabbing my attention. So the metaphor or the analogy there is that it always gets worse before it gets better. Whenever there's an event that stings or that, pierces you, that really gets to you, gets through your skin and gets to you, and you have no choice at that point but to focus your attention on it, whether it's wanted or unwanted. When that happens, it always is going to get worse before it gets better. And so please take that as you will. But I think that, that's a lot of what we're seeing right now in the world. We're seeing a lot of, conflicting feelings. We're seeing a lot of people feeling attacked. We're seeing a lot of people rightfully outraged. We're seeing pain surfacing. As painful and as ugly as it looks right now, this is all part of the greater process of transmuting our beliefs and our value systems so that they serve us, right? We all know that regardless of where you stand in the world, we all know that there are things that need to change, right? So how do I preface this? If each one of us is an individual, then we are like cells within the body of the greater whole, right? So as a whole, the animal or, species or being that is all of humanity is not off its path, but we're collectively doing things that are not serving the higher good, the highest good. And so we all know that in various ways. Our food system here in the US, the way we have such a disposable economy, the way that we farm, a lot of it is very profit-based and it's not heart-centered. Not to mention, inequalities that we see in our culture. I believe that as a society, we are comfortable enough. Yes, there are a lot of problems in society, but as a whole, we are at a stage where we, for the most part, our physical needs are met. And so now it's time to start, developing our higher ideals and deciding where we want to go. It doesn't have to be based on survival anymore. We have the resources, we just have to figure out how to distribute them in a, equitable and fair way. I hope that makes sense. If you're not familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as humans, we need a home. We need food, water, shelter. We need emotional security. We need self-esteem. All of those things have to be met before we can start to examine our ideals and be instruments of the divine, allow something greater to flow through us, right? So please take that as you will, but I believe what we're seeing is things are changing and it's time. We're coming to the age of Aquarius and the shakeup is inevitable. So the best thing that we can do as individuals as we navigate all of this is to focus in on our highest good. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to use my Morgan Greer to pull all of the cards. All right. And at the end, I will pull, it's a Ask and It Is Given Oracle card. It's a law of attraction based deck. And then I'll also pull a spirit animal. I've found that the animal totems have been really helpful. So, and I also love that deck. The images are really awesome. So let's get into it. Spirit, what do we most need to know for the week of June 7th through the 14th, 2020? Also, you guys, if you have comments, questions, feedback throughout the video, please put it down below. And if you find value in this video, hit the subscribe. It really helps me out. What do we most need to know for this week moving forward? Okay, we'll take these three. I'm going to do a different spread. I'm going to pull 7 cards, and I'm going to lay it out as if to represent the chakra system. So remember, this is on an individual basis as well as the collective. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. So for the base chakra, our connection to earth, our connection to the fight or flight part of our brain, right? Our survival system, the primitive reptile brain or monkey brain, if you want. We got the Queen of Rods. Queen of Rods is somebody who is very abundant. She lives in a time of harvest and abundance. You see the sunflower, and rods represent the motivation, the fire element. So this queen is somebody who is calm. She's She's hardworking. She is, but she's also fiery. She also can make decisions, you know, in a sort of drastic way. If she feels a certain way, she can, just like she can cause everything to bloom, she can also cause things to burn up, right? She's the queen of fire. She does have a temper. She's very smart. She's very grounded. So as far as like the collective, I don't see, like, we're not focusing on a lot of survival. We are in a time of, you know, we're coming into the time of abundance, but we're definitely not lacking. So that's good as far as, you know, survival. Up above, we got King of Pentacles reversed, 6 of Wands, and 4 of Wands. Wow. Okay. 4 of Wands is about celebration. It's about the blending of ideals and values. Do you see how this looks like almost like a wedding banner they've put up? And again, rods are the fire element, so beliefs, the things that motivate us. And so what is marriage but, you know, bringing two people, two different belief and value systems together and marrying them, meshing them together under one banner, under one belief, one way. And it's a time to celebrate. We also got the 6 of Wands, which is exactly that. This person is being championed by their city, by their town. He is a knight and he has gone out to battle and he's returning. And in the traditional Rider-Waite, you can actually see the people around and they're cheering and they're, you know, praising him, basically celebrating him for a job well done. So they're, you know, both of these cards together are very harmonious. And it's also a progression. So it's almost like you marrying yourself to a value system and the praise that comes from it, because you've done that, you know. And so now everyone else around you is praising you and is glad to see you on board. Essentially, they're glad to see him come home in this card. And then above, which is the, you know, kind of overall, is the King of Pentacles reversed. So King of Pentacles is your ability to go out and, you know, manage your domain of work or of career or of finance. What is a king? A king is somebody who is a very masculine, forward-moving energy. He's analytical, but he's also he also rules his kingdom, right? His duty is to serve the people. And pentacles represent physical, material abundance. You can see the grapes. This is a very abundant card. So this person is all about, you know, running his organization or his business that brings in financial wealth, and he's in the reverse. So, you know, a lot of us haven't been working because of the big old C word, the virus that's going around, and that energy is weighing on you. Otherwise, it could be, you know, I don't know why Spirit is bringing this in, because my intent is for this to be to help us focus on ourselves and how we can best serve the collective, which is always my intent with these readings. But in seeing everything that's happened in the last, you know, week, 2 weeks, I can't help but notice this is almost like, you know, like the marriage of beliefs, two separate beliefs coming together. You know, be damned the material, right? Willing to give up, you know, the material possessions you have, or you know, the income and abundance that you have, your source of abundance, in order to not conform, but to meld with this ideal here, and you're being praised for it. So whatever that means for you, I will say, there's a little humming bumblebee. We all have the ability nowadays to have our own platform and to speak our mind and our voice. And that allows us to also have others chime in and either agree or disagree with us. And again, we're all being forced with what's happening here to re-examine, what do we believe? What do we believe? So I think we've all got different beliefs, and we're more willing now than ever in the past to sort of open up and be open to other ideals, other values, and values that are above and beyond money and financial well-being. Maybe you worked somewhere, maybe you were like a boss somewhere, and you're realizing that you supervised or managed people, and you were that sort of authority figure that kept everything running smoothly, and you're realizing that that job doesn't suit your ideals. It's not what you believe in anymore. It's not something that you can meld yourself to and still feel victorious. Okay, so let's get back to the chakras. So we got the base chakra, Queen of Rods. So everything's doing well there. We've got enough. We have abundance. The other thing that rods represent, if this area of life is a challenge for you, again, survival, needs-based, the very base chakra. So, and when I say well, if you're having to worry about where your next meal is coming from, or if you're going to be able to make, money, then obviously you can't focus on much else. So if that is the case, then the advice in this card is the rod right here. Okay. And the fact that she is a female, feminine, the divine feminine is the receptive aspect of life, okay? And wands represent the spirit. So it's like allowing spirit to come in and knowing that you will always have all that you need. And I'll tell a story from my life, or a lesson that I learned through depression, through, struggles, through uncertainty and, jobs or moving, all of those sorts of things, trauma. Even at my lowest, this was an amazing lesson for me, because even at my very lowest, where like, if you don't feel good about yourself, then you don't feel like you're even worthy of going out and getting the material things that you need, right? So if you're in that place right now, hopefully this helps, but I realized, I looked back on my life and realized that even when times were really tough, I always had enough. I did have enough to eat. Universe always provided. And now I'm able to know in my heart that I will be provided for. My material needs will be provided for. And that knowing is what creates a strong and healthy, base chakra. And that chakra is vital for the rest of them to be working well. Okay. Next one up, we have the second chakra, which is our emotional state. It is passion. It is creation. It is where the sexual organs are. It is where desire lives. Not want, but like carnal desire, right? And the High Priestess is a beautiful card to have. And she's also sitting on the moon. We have this new moon coming up. We just had the full moon on the 5th of June, and this card represents divine intuition. So we are tapped into our emotions, and this makes sense, again, with everything going on in the world, because we've been forced to feel so many things in this last week, in the last few days, that have stirred up a lot of emotions in all of us. And once those emotions are stirred up, then we can start to look at them with the logical mind, right? And understand them and integrate them. And that is what the High Priestess knows. That's her secret. She has all, wisdom at her fingertips, because she's lived it through experience. And, the raw emotion of it has, taught her the wisdom and the lesson. So, I think being tapped into our emotions is not necessarily a problem. In fact, it's very positive. High Priestess is having that divine guidance. And more than that, knowing the power in letting yourself feel your emotions, knowing that those emotions are your messengers, right? They tell you whether you are aligned, whether you're on the right path, whether you're not. If you feel angry and upset, then you need to readjust your focus, right? So we all intuitively know that. Or we're learning that this week. But, you know, if you haven't yet come to grips and been able to glean meaning out of all the emotions that you've had in the last couple weeks, you will soon with this card, okay? And also as advice for the week ahead, be open to what your emotions have to teach you, okay? Third chakra, which is the will. It's right in the center of your stomach. It's your solar plexus, and it is the assertion of your will over the physical, being able to manifest. It's where manifestation happens. The color for it is yellow, and we have the 8 of Wands reversed. Again, wands represent fire. They represent motivations. And you can see there's 8 of them, and they're like crashing down from heaven onto you, right? So these represent motivations, belief systems, all of the different varying belief systems that we see in the outside world, and also that exist within us that we're examining. So if in the upright, it means being overwhelmed with all these beliefs and not really knowing where to go, but not knowing where to go and yet having to move. Because if you don't, if I'm right here and I don't move, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to get knocked over by all of these beliefs, these motivating factors. And I'm either that, or I'm going to get frozen and I'm not going to know what to do. And I'm going to be taken out. So we don't want that. And it's in the reverse. And the third chakra is about manifestation. So it's almost like if being overwhelmed by beliefs and ideas is what it means upright, then the opposite of that would be like, regardless of the noise, you know, grabbing on and holding on to a belief that you can manifest and that you believe in. I feel like fire in the belly with this card. And so rather than getting overwhelmed with what's going on, it's almost like everything that's happening this upcoming week is causing you to really narrow down and narrow your focus on what you really believe in. And your emotions are rooted in spiritual and intuitive knowledge, right? With this High Priestess, this is a beautiful card. You know that your emotions have a purpose. You know that they have a message to teach you. And so not only are you narrowing your vision and cutting out all the noise this week, but you're choosing beliefs not only because they sound nice or because you're going to get, you know, praise or admiration from others for agreeing with them, right? For marrying yourself to this, whatever this belief system is for you, but because of what you know it will do in the world. Does that make sense? Because of change that you want to see in your own life. And so you're being very deliberate with what you manifest and very conscious of what you're manifesting. And that's fantastic. That's all any of us can do, is focus on, you know, examining what do we believe, and is it serving us or is it hindering, you know, the greater goal here. And so you're really going to focus in this week on what you want to manifest, and it's not just like some desire that you have. There's a meaning and a reason and a purpose behind it. And you're going to allow that fire to get behind you and make up your mind being able to take the first steps of some really great change in your life this upcoming week. Doesn't mean you will accomplish it, but it means that you're on the right track and you've got fire in your belly and you've got motivation behind you, and you know why you believe in it and what you want to do with that belief. Your heart chakra is the next one, and we have the 10 of Pentacles reversed. Ten of Pentacles is about material, physical wealth, okay? The pinnacle of like, you worked hard your whole life and you were able to buy that nice house. And here you are in your home getting to experience the fruits of your labor, and rightly so, right? But in the reverse, and it's on your heart. So it's almost like, you know, you feeling upside down or sad about the wealth and the abundance that you had. I'll just go ahead and say it. If this is, you know, if this is you becoming aware of how privileged you may be and how disadvantaged others may be, you're feeling it's on your heart and you're almost like, gosh, like, do I deserve this? Like, there's a real heavy feeling of guilt. And I'm here to tell you that the utility in guilt on a spiritual level is to teach you where things are unjust, right? To help you see it. But it's not to, you know, keep you there, because if you don't, you know, guilt is one of the hardest things to come out of. And whether you believe in God or Jesus or you're religious or, you know, whatever you believe in, I believe that, you know, all of the religious texts, they tell the same story and they're getting to the same place, right? They're all different peoples trying to explain the glory of the universe that we live in and how it works. And one of the, you know, messages from Christian teaching is that of redemption. So, you know, the reason I believe the, you know, parable of it is that people say, or really, you know, devout Christians, Jesus is the only way. But, you know, they're not giving you the backstory. So a lot of people are turned off by that. But if you let your preconceived notions fall away and you try to look at the text objectively and with metaphor and letting, you know, spirit, you know, guide your mind and your understanding, the reason that they say that is because Jesus represented, you know, God on earth, right? God in a man's body. God is the untouchable, the unknowable, the all. He is everything. But you can't know the everything. You can't know everything. You're only one point of view. So in order to, you know, help the people understand, he sent, you know, Jesus, right? He sent himself in our form. And the only way to redemption, right? You've done something horrible, you confess it from your mouth, and you believe in God. So to me, what that represents is the God in all of us, the divine, the spirit in humanity. So if you do something wrong and you feel guilty, or even if it's not your own guilt, even if it's generational or whatever it is, if you feel guilt and it's weighing on your heart, the only way to get rid of it is to tap into the divinity in yourself, to confess it to the divine part of yourself, right? I hope this makes sense. And the confession part is important because, you know, our minds are compartmentalized, right? We see black and white, good and evil, wrong and right, all of these, you know, dichotomies that it's really just one thing, but it's two opposite ends of the spectrum. So the speaking it is important because it's the bad part of us, right? The subconscious, or the part that is ashamed and guilty, speaking or confessing what it's done, and in doing so, admitting, right, the wrongdoing to the divine, to the divinity. And only after doing that can you find forgiveness for yourself. And it's got to come from in you. No outside authority can ever forgive you. And the way that you come to that understanding is, again, back to this base chakra. I always have what I need. If I live in a loving universe and I was, you know, if I've done something unforgivable, why would life continue to support me? Why would I continue to have what I need? Because you're that valuable, because you are that purposefully made. And, you know, universe knows all of the bad things that you could have ever done in your life and still gave you the opportunity to come down here and get to play around so that you can learn, right? You were that loved. On a spiritual level here, on a level higher, one of the big questions of people that don't understand, spirituality, or just coming to understand it, why would God allow these things to happen? Because you are God, because you are so loved. God wanted to know himself. Universe wanted to know itself. And so it created us, and it split itself into a million little pieces. And knowing all of the possibilities that could happen, it still gave you that opportunity to be here and to do it. And so you are the only one holding yourself back from forgiveness, okay? So I know that was long and kind of convoluted, but there's no utility in guilt if you just stay in there. If you realize that you have done something, or you take part in a system or in a job, or maybe the way that you bring in money, if you don't, agree with, maybe you've had a change of heart and you realize that the way that you've been doing it has not been great. It's almost like this card is you feeling guilty for all of the physical things that you have, because it's weighing on your heart. Also, this is a 10. 10 is a culmination, okay? So you don't come to the point of realizing that unless you're ready to step into a new era of understanding, right? So what's weighing on your heart this week is simply there to teach you that there's a better way that is more aligned, right? And conscience, that really quiet little voice in the back of your head, that is the divine. That is the divine voice. That is the high priestess. That is the intuition, okay? So if you feel guilt, just know that you're here to do so much more. And if you stay in guilt, sure, feel the guilt, feel it fully, cry, be remorseful, confess, do what you need to do to get it out of your system, but do not hold on to it. You have to let it go at some point and just, vow to do better next time around. Now right? But if you stay in that place of guilt, then it starts to erode your self-esteem, it starts to erode your value, it starts to erode connection to the divine, most of all, because you feel guiltful and shameful and you don't feel worthy of anything good. And that's the most dangerous place to be. And that's what, the devil or the, dark side of reality, that's what is going on there. It's the darkness is not a thing in and of itself. It's the lack of light. Okay? So don't allow the guilt you're feeling over, whatever it is, if it's generational, if it's whatever, don't allow it to consume you and make you think that you don't know what's best for you, or you don't know what's best. You do. Don't let anybody take your power away, because that's how you get corrupted, and that's how you get easily, moved in this way or that, okay? So maintain that divine connection and own up to your part in it, okay? But don't beat yourself up. Just resolve to do better, okay? So after the heart chakra, we have the throat chakra. So we have the King of Swords in reverse. King of Swords are the mental realm. They are the air element. They are talking swiftly. They are communication. And a king, what does a king do? He leads his people, right? He is not afraid to speak the truth. He's not afraid to use his sword if he needs to, his words, to affect change. And it's in the reverse. So your throat chakra is blocked. It's very blocked up right now. You're not feeling like you're powerful enough to speak, or like perhaps your opinion doesn't matter, or perhaps, you're worried about how people will perceive you. You're worried about letting other people down, that what you say won't maybe be the right thing, and that it's going to let others down. Let me pull an advice on this real quick. What do we need to do to get our throat chakra in order? Five of Cups. Feel the emotion, let it go. Actually, focus on the good that you do have, okay? Traditionally, this is 5 cups. 3 of them are spilled, 2 of them are full, and the man is staring at the 3 that are spilled over. So the message is, yes, sad things do happen, but you have to focus on the good. Otherwise, you're feeding that negativity, that negative energy, okay? And then we got the 8 of Rods, again, reversed. Wow. So don't be afraid. So I just asked, what do we need to do to be able, for you to be able to speak your truth and not feel like you have to shut down your own voice and not speak because you might not say the right thing, or other people might not like it. It might not be the right thing to do, and you're feeling very, blocked. And the advice that came out was that 8 of Wands reversed again. So we already know what you want, right? And we already know that it's aligned with the highest good because there's fire behind it. There's passion behind it. You see this rainbow and this like lightning here? So please don't be afraid to speak how you feel. Tapping into that vision, what you want to see in your world this next week, what change you want to affect in your own life and in the greater world, allow that to embolden you, okay? Because again, it does no good if your heart chakra is closed down because you feel guilty and your throat chakra is closed down because you're afraid of, saying the wrong thing, then you're not helping anybody, right? You can't help from a place of hurt. So everything else is good. I mean, the first 3 are great. You're feeling a little guilty. You're feeling unsure of what to say. And then, oh boy, here we go with the third eye. So this is pretty self-explanatory, right? This is 10 is a number of culmination. Wands are the air element, communication, the way we say our words, intentions, really. And you see there's 10 swords in this man's back, okay? So this means an overhaul, the ending of a way of, communicating an old set of ideas that we had. It's the end of it. We haven't gotten to the new place yet, the new cycle yet, but we're witnessing the end. And that's what's on your mind. That's what you're envisioning. Okay? And the last card that we got for the 7th chakra is the 6 of Cups in reverse. 6 of Cups is celebration. It's, 2 little children sharing their emotions with each other, but it's in the reverse. So what this means to me as your spiritual, what's going on with your connection to spirit, the connection is a little bit blocked because of the guilt that you're feeling. Although you know that your emotions have something to teach you, you're not quite sure if you have formulated it all well enough in order to speak it in public, right? But again, here you are, adapting your beliefs and being praised for it, okay? So don't be afraid to speak what's on your mind and what you believe. We just had the 9 of Pentacles fly out as well, okay? So if you can do that, if you can speak what you believe and heal your heart of this guilt that you're feeling, the abundance and the well-being in your physical life will manifest again. I'm going to go ahead and pull our animal totem, and then I'm going to pull a Ask and It Is Given oracle card. Spirit, what do we need to know for the week of June 8th through the 14th? What are the animal messages here? Wow. That's it. Swan. Okay, hi guys, sorry about that. I wanted to go and get the guidebook here for the wild unknown spirit animal that we got for this week. We got swan. So 2 things I want to mention. Swan is a water element animal, obviously. Swan starts out as an ugly duckling, right? And goes through a transformation into a powerful, graceful bird. And in this card, you see the reflection, right? Can you guys see that? You see the higher version and the reflection in the water. So I'm going to read this to you guys. Swan, effortless creativity, sensitive mystic, elegant power. The swan represents heightened creativity. In Hindu mythology, the goddess Sarawati, the embodiment of language, creativity, and artistry, rides on the back of this graceful creature. The swan is ready to take us there, to the fluid realm of writing, creating, and reflecting. This potent and healing energy is not to be taken for granted or taken lightly. When the swan card appears, your soul is calling for attention, for solo time. An inner voice is waiting to be heard, an inner vision likely to be revealed. Okay, and it says to bring into balance, because it did come out upside down. So when in balance, infinite creative power. When out of balance, agitated, snippy, lacking of vision. To bring it into balance, solo time, writing. Okay? Reflection. We've all been so caught up in everything that's going on right now. You know, and it's understandable, but you need some time to reflect, to heal this heart and this guilt that you're feeling, and to heal this throat chakra and your ability to speak, because your voice is powerful. You have a unique purpose and role to play. Don't let your guilt cause you to feel like what you have to say is not worthy, because that is not true. We are all of equal value, all of us. Okay? And again, your connection with the divine. So you're cut off from that. All the other chakras are doing okay, except, you know, your vision for the future is not that great. But you're cut off from your heart, your ability to speak, and your connection with the divine. Okay? And what's going to fix that is some solo time to reflect. Okay? There's a lot of processing of emotions still going on. Okay? So, and again, it looks worse before it gets better, okay? So don't be scared to say the wrong thing, because in speaking your opinion, you're formulating new ideas, right? If somebody attacks you for, you know, if you have a good intention in your heart, you're not speaking hate, and somebody attacks you for speaking and attempting to formulate your ideas in this crazy world that we're living in right now, then that person doesn't have your highest interest in mind. Then that person is jumping on this bandwagon and feeling, you know, righteous, and not allowing you the opportunity to get to the place where you're aligned with the greater good. So please know that each time you speak, each time you write, you're practicing, right? You're iterating these beliefs, these values that are going to be so powerful in the coming weeks, okay? So don't let anyone stop you, because we all need that practice. We all need space and debate and conversation in order to be able to develop new ideas, right? So if somebody's attacking you for it, take it for what it is, an opportunity to reflect on a different point of view, an opportunity to assimilate if you want, and process those emotions so that you can, you know, reconnect with spirit and not be cut off feeling guilty, okay? Guilt has a purpose, all right? It has a purpose, but you're not meant to stay in it forever, okay? Let's pull our last oracle card. The Ask and It Is Given by Jerry and Esther Hicks. I always want to say Ari and Jester for some reason. Spirit, what do we need to know? What is the message? How can we manifest a better reality? Okay. Life is always in motion, so I cannot be stuck. It is not possible to stand still or be stuck. because energy, and therefore life, is always in motion. Things are always changing. The reason it may feel to you as if you are stuck is because while you are continuing to think the same thoughts, things are changing. But they are changing to the same thing over and over. Right. So your thoughts and what you focus on is what you create, right? So if you're seeing the same cycle over and over and you feel like you're stuck, you can't open up, you can't speak, it's because you're thinking the same things over and over and over. So it is manifesting. New things, new cycles are happening, but you're continuing to attract the same thing, okay? So that's why this reflection, letting the emotions, I think we're pretty much done with the emotions. We've had a lot of emotional upheaval in the last few weeks. We just had the full moon a couple days ago. We're done with like feeling the emotions for the most part, but we do need to process them now. And then come the full moon at the end of the month, you'll be ready to jump into whatever that new creation, that thing that you feel so fiery about, okay? And that you know for sure. So let that be what you speak, okay? And don't rob yourself of the opportunity to practice developing your ideas and new ideas so that you don't stay stuck, okay? Beautiful reading, you guys. If you have questions, comments, feedback, please either put them in the comments below or send me an email. I will link that down below as well. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. I do a daily card reading there. So if you found value, please subscribe. Really helps me out a lot. And I love you guys so very much. I will see you next week.